Let us discuss another calcium compound, that is plaster of Paris or POP. Now, what is its chemical name? Chemically, plaster of Paris is called calcium sulphate hemihydrate. Calcium sulphate hemihydrate. Hemihydrate is half molecules of water of crystallization. So, its formula is CaSO4 half H2O. Now, how it is prepared? Plaster of Paris is prepared by heating gypsum at 373 Kelvin, that is 100 degree Celsius, in a kiln. Okay. Now, what happens when calcium sulphate dihydrate, that is gypsum. Gypsum is calcium sulphate dihydrate. When it is heated in a kiln at 373 Kelvin, remember this temperature is very important. I'll tell you why. Then in this temperature, this gypsum, it loses 1.5 molecules of water of crystallization and it becomes POP, plaster of Paris. Now, it is not possible to have half molecule of water of crystallization actually. So, when it happens, the reaction happens in atmosphere, it happens something like this. If we multiply it by 2, so 2 molecules of gypsum, when heated, they produce calcium sulphate hemihydrate, that is plaster of Paris. Now, since we have multiplied it by 2, so this cancels out. It is something like this actually. It is 2 into half H2O. So, ultimately it becomes 1 H2O. Right? So, this is the preparation of plaster of Paris from gypsum. You can learn either this or this, both are correct. Right? Now, I was telling you that it is a controlled reaction. It should not, this temperature should be maintained. Why? What happens if we do not maintain this temperature? If gypsum is heated at a temperature higher than 373 Kelvin, then it loses all the water of crystallization. All the molecules of water of crystallization are lost and it doesn't become plaster of Paris, but it becomes dry, dead plaster. And this dry dead plaster doesn't have the characteristic features of POP, means it doesn't bind and it will be useless for us. It will be of no use for us. So remember, this temperature is very essential for production of plaster of Paris from gypsum. Now let us understand what are its properties and uses. Let us understand the properties of plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is a white powder and it absorbs water with evolution of heat. It absorbs water with evolution of heat. That means when it is mixed with water, the reaction is exothermic. And when mixed with water, it forms a paste which sets into a hard mass. That is, when this calcium sulphate hemihydrate, that is plaster of Paris, is mixed with 1.5 molecules of water, it forms gypsum. It is rehydrated to form gypsum. Let us understand some of the uses of plaster of Paris. It is used in making molds for toys, pottery, ceramics, etc. It is also used for making statues, for making models, decorative items. You might have seen white colored statues. Those are the statues made up of plaster of Paris, quite light in weight and beautifully they can be carved. It is also used, medical use, of great use in for medical purposes. It is used for setting broken bones. You might have seen when somebody gets a fracture, if any one of you have got, you must have observed, experienced that some white colored substance is applied on that broken part. That is nothing but plaster of Paris. It helps in setting the bone, bringing it back to place, back to position. It is also used in dentistry for making dentures, etc. There also POP is used. Another use of it is for making the smooth surfaces, designs on walls. All these walls and all, before putting paint on these, POP is applied. So after applying POP, wall becomes smooth, and then after this we can easily apply paint on it. It is also used in laboratories for sealing purposes, for making apparatus airtight. Suppose there is some apparatus, we want to do some experiment where we want to seal it tightly. So we put the cork, and around the cork we put POP as a sealing material for sealing it. So POP is a very, very useful compound of calcium. It's a calcium salt and a very, very important substance from industrial point of view and also as a raw material.
Before we wind up, solve these questions based on the topic discussed.